And we're back. Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast, the Peach Music Fest edition. And of course, we've got the GOATs, the OGs. Geoff and Jon, founders of the Peach Fest, are on the show today. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good, man. GOATs, OG just means we're old.
Yeah. Young goats?
Young GOATs. I always had a question about this. How hard is it to build, like, what's your philosophy on building a lineup? Like every year, how do you approach building a whole Peach Fest schedule?
Well, I don't want to jump here, Jon, but usually start with Andy Frasco. We just go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Well, yeah, I cleared the Frasco set first.
Let's go. Thanks, boys.
That's it.
I appreciate it.
Got to make sure the UN is together. Yeah.
Start with Andy Frasco and kind of like go sideways, up, down, and all around.
I love it.
No, but we try. You know what? I think it is really just what I just said. It's like we try to really go back. The Allman, the Peach is all about the Allman Brothers. So we try to make sure that it has every little bit of syrupy, funky, nasty, stinky, but good stinky, like just good. Get in the grits, get in the corners of it. Music, you know what I mean? Like just get there. That's why when we call our friends John Medeski, you know what I mean, and Robert Randolph about the word, tell them they got to get back together and play. They're like, shoot, we've only done a show or two in the last couple of years. I'm like, yeah, but y'all got to come back here and play this. That's kind of how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's somewhat, it is what it is. We need road music. We need road tunes. We want music that when you put the top down, you might light up something you might like and drive cross country and just get the smell and just the icky of it. That's how we built it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, yeah, like that's basically true in Allman Brothers fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Shit. That's what the Allman Brothers did. They go outside, they'd sit outside of Fillmore East and Fillmore West and wait for anybody to play and they just jump on stage.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Geoff, we try to build it that way too, because we want to get those components in there that when you put them on the same festival on the same day or next to each other, you don't know who's going to show up, who's going to play with who. You kind of try to put that chaos together, and then hopefully it becomes good chaos. With somebody sitting in, you never know what's going to show up, who's going to show up, that kind of thing. That's how we try to build it too, especially in the middle of the sandwich, so to speak.
I mean,
one of our very, very proudest moments this year, and as far as I'm concerned, in the scene, is Mr. Billy Strings.
Right.
Because Billy Strings was somewhere down on the bill, and now he's not legitimate, but a real headliner, and deservedly so. And same with our friends at Goose. We love the fact that we've been there from the get with folks like that. You know what I'm saying? That tells you to us what we're so proud of acts like Strings and like Goose that have built. Maybe we had everything to do with it, but we're very proud to be involved with the building careers and that kind of movement of younger acts like that.
And I was going to say that too. Like, it must feel good to feel that the hard work of developing small acts when you believe in a band since the beginning and now see them do your festival only a few years later and be at top of the bill. It's like, it's just amazing feeling to be part of the process. Right, Jon?
That's what it's about. And like Geoff said, those acts he named, and like somebody like Pigeons, who I think played in the parking lot at one point,
right, all
the way up. So that's when that you've done it right, and it feels that's the best feeling in the world as a promoter. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah,
Do you ever? And I think as much as the headliners and things, you can roll around and you never know what you're going to see on the Grove stage or on the Mushroom stage, some cool act you've never heard of and come across them and blow your mind, and that's the great stuff too. Whether you're going to run across a Daniel Donato who you've never heard of, or a Neighbor, or Melt or Shady Recruits or something, that's just going to be like, whoa, what's that?
Totally.
Those are the fun points.
That's beautiful, man. And guys, I just want to say, I've only known you guys a few years, but how much you've helped my career, I'm just thankful to have you guys on my court. So thank you guys so much.
Well, Andy, thank you. You've been amazing for Peach. Last year was incredible, rolling around like the mayor of the festival. And it was, I think you saw what the community was like, and like how the community takes you in, how did that feel?
It was amazing. And to show like how they travel, like that's one thing about Peach Fest. It's not just that Scranton, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It is like the whole East Coast coming together for this community that is Peach Fest. Did you think that was ever going to happen like that when you're first starting this fest?
No, we didn't know there was, but to be honest with you, back then there was a lot more of these type of jam festivals that whatever reasons are not around anymore, or decided to change course and went pop, or what, I'm sorry, whatever's hip now, you know what I'm saying? But
And I think I get what you're saying about this. And it's like with having so many festivals back then, you never knew that it was going to escalate to what it was here, you know, right, John?
Everything was regionalized. Yeah, everything was regionalized, right? I think that's what he's saying. And then through one reason or the other, things fall off or things fell out over the last 10 years, and Peach is still there, strong and stronger than ever. And again, going back to that community, like being able to build that community. I think you saw it last year too, like specifically last year, because it was such a crazy year coming out of COVID, like for Geoff and I to stay the course and make this thing happen through the trials and tribulations, but to come out the other side of it, that like made the community even stronger. I feel like that makes me more excited to come back this year because of what happened last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we made it through and we're back. We're truly back,
Yeah, it feels good. And it's like that idea of lifers, You'll always, and how the lifers keep growing. And for you guys to put on such a special thing when, some years could be tougher than others, and for you to keep going is just, I'm thankful for you. So thanks, guys, for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you soon. See you in 10 days.
Yeah, see you in 10 days. I can't wait, John. I'm going to give you guys big ass hugs.
see you up on the road, brother.
All right, buddy. Thank you, guys. John and Geoff from Peach Fest. Thank you. All right, let's get to our interview.
All right, next up on the interview hour, we have the Motet, Dave Watts, drummer of the Motet. He's the man. He lives in Boulder, Colorado. Crazy story. He's basically one of the founders. I would honestly say this wholeheartedly. He's one of like the music scene founders of Boulder, Colorado. He moved out there in the 90s, built this community, and since then, the funk scene has blossomed in Colorado ever since. So he's one of the godfathers of the Colorado scene. And it was so great to hear his story. And, he's had a lot of trauma in the last couple years. His house burned down in the Marshall fires in Colorado. He lost both his dogs. It's the ups and downs of the music industry. And for him to still have an optimistic view on everything is why I love talking to Dave. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, Chris, play a little Motet while we're pimping him out. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the interview hour for the Peach Fest installment, Dave Watts of the Motet.
Wow,
I see.
We have the fountain of youth in the podcast studio, Dave Watts.
That's me?
That's you.
You are the fountain of youth.
You do not age.
Did not.
What is your secret?
Well, tequila. Start there.
Dave.
And playing drums.
The Motet.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Fucking tired, man.
What's been going on?
I'm tired. Fucking Denver is exhausting.
I know. Well, you've
Jesus
dealt with so
Christ.
much with the house burning down, and
I told you we're not talking about depressing things.
I know, not yet.
Okay.
We'll slow grind this. Dave, I want to know a little bit about Motet. How long has it been going around?
I started it in 98.
98?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Fountain of youth. This man does not age. I'm aging like vinegar over here.
I was like 2 when I started it, so.
yeah. He's like 33.
He's the youngest funk drummer in history.
Yeah, right.
Where were you? Where were you when you started it?
In Boulder, man.
Yeah?
Boulder was the shit back in the 90s.
What was it like?
Everything was the shit in the 90s. It was fucking way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it easier to sell tickets in the 90s than 2020s?
Well, it depends. Like Denver kind of sucked in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah. Like, when I moved to Colorado, no one hung out in Denver unless you were going to a sports game.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was rock. There was
So
rock
Boulder
clubs.
was the hit place to play in Colorado?
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. There was like 20 clubs in Boulder.
Now it's like an Apple store.
Yeah, in Google.
It feels like an Apple store up there.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, so how'd you start it? Like, did you move? Are you born and raised in Colorado?
No.
Where are you from?
All over the East Coast.
Really?
Yeah, man.
So what'd you decide Colorado for?
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
A little story time. I was in a band called Chakra from the East Coast, Boston area. And, early jam band, although we didn't call it jam band back then.
Yeah.
But we were buds with some of the guys in Fish, and they were kind of forging this new way, do-it-yourself touring and all that stuff. So my bass player, Edwin, taught Mike how to slap, pop.
Oh, shit.
Do that whole thing. Yeah.
So do you get bitter sometimes that Fish got so successful? Being your homies?
No, not at all. No, I've seen many bands like, it's like fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's great.
I'd be pissed if my best friend's band blew up and didn't take me with them.
Right. Well, I mean.
Would you too, Nick?
No, it's happened to me like 15 times.
Yeah.
I'm pretty used to it at this
That's
point.
right. And you get on the guest list, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
I get to sit in with them sometimes.
Yeah.
So you
you're
had a
right.
band, and did you guys all move? Did Chakra move to Colorado? Like, what'd you hear about
No.
Colorado?
Well, story time. Like, we were hanging with Fish, partying with those guys. They come over to the house, whatever. So they decided to go to Colorado to play some shows. And we saw how successful they were. They were playing clubs like, Crested Butte, the Eldo, and
Fox
Flapping the
Theater?
Moons. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think they ever played the Fox.
Oh, really?
Actually, Chakra was the second band to play the Fox.
I was going to say, your
so-
sticker's still there.
Right. Yeah, it's on the wall.
Yeah.
I put that shit up there like
Yeah.
fucking 30 years ago.
Still there.
Still there. It's beautiful. I think I
fucking go.
painted around it.
Makes me question the
I love that. I love
Kind of
that.
makes me question the cleaning crew, but
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. Oh yeah, so Fish back in those days, if you wanted to be successful, you had to send out a mailer, a little fucking card,
Right.
you know what I mean, a little postcard or whatever that had all your dates on it. I still have some from way back when. My mom, like after my house burned, my mom sent me this box she found in her attic, and part of it was these fucking cards. Man, it was amazing.
you had to send them via Pony Express.
Hey, I'm not that old. Come on, man. That's a Joey Porter joke.
So
It is.
So you're passing out these promotional cards. You got your first gig. Where was it? Fox?
Yeah, so we came out to Colorado using Fish's mailing list. They gave us their mailing list. That was the deal. It was like they gave us their mailing list. So we sent out these cards that said, our friends in Fish told, wanted us to come out and play Colorado and thought you might be interested, yada, yada. And we sent out these cards and we showed up and fucking every show was sold out and it was like this
Like
raging
that?
thing like that.
Holy
Because if you
shit.
did that back then, like no one did that. And if you did it, you had like, you buy a bunch of beer and get your friends to come over.
look
and
very
they're
credible.
literally licking stamps to put them on the cards. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
Damn.
but we did that, and through association, we sold out these shows because people were like, "Oh, Fish, Boston band, yada yada." And we played the Fox Theater. We were like the second band. I think the Meters were the first band. We were the second band to play the Fox in Boulder.
Whoa.
And that show was sold out. And Tulagi next door was sold out with Leftover Salmon, and then there was the Boulder Theater was sold out with another jam band group. I don't know, the Taylors next to that. It was just, I was crazy. Like up on the hill, it was just madness. It was just tour kids, hippie kids.
sick.
It was, dude, it was great.
Before the internet really was like really cracking.
And
too.
cell phones, man. We had to look at a map.
Yeah, how'd you tour?
It was so fucked up. Like we looked at a map. I would literally go to a telephone booth and call my agent to figure out where the next gig was. You know what I mean? Like
fuck
it was,
up.
yeah, literally, or like do an interview with the newspaper and putting quarters into a payphone kind of thing. Like that's
It was
how,
more of the Wild Wild West.
How did we do that? I don't know how we did it, man.
Well, you fucking made it
Imagine
through
if
it.
you get lost, though.
I mean, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be here now.
Yeah,
so,
did you ever get
thank
the
God.
wrong directions and get lost?
Dude, always. We don't like the
What
band.
was the
like,
worst one?
Yeah.
Well, we ended up almost in Canada at one point, trying to get here, and then like in the middle of winter, trying to go through Estes Park, which was closed. You know what I mean? So we had to go around. It's like, oh yeah, you got to notice that it says closed in winter on the map.
And you're already halfway
People,
there.
yeah, people
They don't teach you how to read maps at Berkeley, do they?
That would be a great course,
Why don't they?
man. How
they
to
should-
fucking
They should
tour.
teach you how to do taxes,
Yeah.
how to read a map, and how to
Right.
wait
Credit
tables.
cards.
Did you like going to Berkeley?
Drive a cab.
Yeah.
Did I like it? Yeah, no one likes. You don't want to admit it if you liked it. You know what I mean? It's like.
What didn't you like about it?
There's just too many fucking metalheads, man. Jesus Christ. There's like the population of a school is like 80% first semester kids that don't know what they're doing with their life, and so they want to go to
Right.
and then they
Drop out.
I literally had the kid next to me was just this shredder metalhead. All he could do was think about how to play faster, and kept turning up his metronome and like just so obsessed that he went bonkers. Like he literally, his mom
Really?
had to come and pick him up.
What happened to him?
Take him home. I don't know.
And
man.
now he's CEO of Google.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my God, it's insane. So did you graduate Berkeley?
No.
No one does.
No one
really.
graduates Berkeley. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's the saying? If you graduate, you failed.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What are you still here for?
I know a couple people who graduated.
Really?
That's so crazy. So was it expensive in the 90s?
No. Berkeley?
Yeah.
No, I think it's way more expensive now. They got the facilities now are just insane. Back then it was cheap. It was like $7,000 a year or something.
Oh my God.
It's
That's
a
awesome.
community college.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So who told you to quit?
I just joined this band and we started touring. I'm like, what am I doing in school? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just started working and doing the thing. So you don't
Yeah,
need to keep taking classes, you know?
Was Chakra popping in Northeast?
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was like, people are like, oh, I thought it was going to be Chakra that got big, not Fish. You know what I mean? Like,
No
you hear that
shit.
from our fans all the time.
Oh, that must
They
hurt
were
you.
like, people were like betting. No, people were like kind of like betting between like, no, Chakra, man, it's going to be the band.
Why are jam band fans so territorial?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Indie rock,
like
I feel
sports
people
or
are like that
something.
too, aren't they?
Not as bad
No,
as
I don't
no.
think
This
so.
is like
Yeah, you're
they
right.
take jam bands like it's a fucking sporting.
Yeah,
event.
they're all cults.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
They are.
tell Dave your theory about jam band cults.
Every band is a cult, and they each have their followers. And the guitar player in each cult is the best guitar player in the world, right? Everybody thinks the guitar player in their favorite jam band is the
Right.
best jam band. Maybe metal bands might be a little bit like this too. Actually, there's other scenes where this happens. It's not hip hop.
Right.
Anyway, every band markets themselves, but they won't admit it. But they're just all starting individual cults.
Right.
It makes sense, right?
Wow. Yeah.
I got so many questions about this.
Yeah.
What got you into jam music in the 90s if it was so new?
Right. Well, it was like if you like jazz, then you like to improvise. You know what I mean? No one called it jamming. I mean, you call it jamming if you want to like
Sure.
talk about what you're doing, but
Yeah.
no, you weren't labeled as that. It was just like if you like jazz and you wanted to improvise, but you wanted an audience that was dancing and wasn't just sitting in chairs. Because I didn't like the sort of experience of a jazz show where it was just dudes sitting, everyone sitting in chairs and golf clap or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I always like listening to those Cannonball Adderley records where everyone's screaming and shit. And
Yeah,
like
jazz used to be cool and like punk rock.
Yeah,
And then college kind of ruined it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah,
Seems
I mean,
like it.
Yeah, I mean, it got more sterile. Like so it just got less.
Got a little
like, rowdy.
scholastic there for a minute. Yeah.
Right.
Have you heard of Spooky Daily Pride?
I've heard it. What is it?
Boston band. Kind of punk rock.
Yeah.
My bass player was in that band from
really?
Boston.
When?
He's your same age. It was
Spooky Daily Pride.
Spooky Daily Pride. Yeah.
That
He was a
in the
Boston
90s?
band. Yeah, 90s too. And then
Okay.
what
Was it
about
90s, really?
and then G Love too was in the 90s,
Oh yeah,
right?
no. G Love actually called me at one point and wanted to audition as this Chakra singer.
Really? What was that like? Give me the story. What the fuck? Really?
Well, so
Damn, I wish we could Skype him in.
I'm super tight with the bass player Jim Prescott.
Yeah.
We went to college together.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, he. I was at my dorm playing this practice pad kit, you know, and I had an actual cymbal, and somehow I thought I could get away with like playing in the dorm, you know, and he heard me just, you know, shedding. I thought it was gonna be somebody like complaining, but he's like, I opened the door and he's like, hey, my band needs a drummer. We're playing the dorm talent show.
Oh my God.
Danielson Dorm Talent Show, Boston University, like 1985 or some shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Did people show up?
Yeah, dude. It was, man, it was fucking great. I was like so excited, like my first gig in Boston.
So was it nerve-wracking if your band was like popping in the Northeast and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, we're making this move to Colorado, like kind of the unknown. What, you just like put your dick out there and just did that?
Yeah, well, the whole band didn't move, just me.
Oh, word?
I quit.
Oh, word. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Now I'm in the story. Now I'm in the story.
The drama.
What happened?
You know, just shit happens, man. Sometimes you just got to get out. I would get on my bike and ride around Boston being like, get me the fuck out of this city. I was just driving me crazy. I couldn't get out of this
Is it a
city.
racist city?
Huh?
It's a racist city.
Racist. Oh, well, it depends on where you are, like Northeast and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
everyone's just angry, man. Like we showed up at the Fox Theater, and the sound guy comes running out. Our first gig in Boulder, and he comes running out. I was like, "Hey guys, what's up? Let me help you carry your stuff." Like everyone was so happy. Like the the people working, the crew at the venue they were smiling. I couldn't believe it. We were just like, what's going on right now? Boston just gets dark.
Yeah, and you said I had to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I had to get out.
So. And then you get to fucking Happy Land, Colorado, wherever everyone is.
It was a miracle, yeah. It felt so like that. Yeah, like I said, the 90s were nice. It was like chill, like everything was like.
Were you getting bummed out that in Boston, like it didn't feel like you're too nice for that city?
Yeah, maybe it was just making me dark, and I was like, I don't need to,
How much of it was the weather?
It's the weather, man. It's fucking.
I think the weather is.
It's cold. Like it's cloudy in Portland and Seattle, but it's not as cold. It's cold and cloudy in Boston. So just for many months. I mean, it's nice in July.
Yeah,
you got 30 days.
Yeah, I went to the Celtics Warriors finals game in Boston. They were just fucking mean. They're like screaming at Steph Curry's family, like you're a bitch. Like, yo, it's just a basketball game. Chill. They take everything very seriously.
It's dark, yeah. Well, and I don't want to generalize because there's
fuck that.
No, we're here to generalize.
We're here to generalize.
We are here to generalize large groups of people from entire cities.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck that. It's just sports. You can generalize sports fans.
So you got out of the band. You moved to Denver.
Moved to Boulder.
Moved to Boulder, sorry, yeah. So did Chakra played in Boulder once and then they decided to quit? I mean,
we came back. No, we came back 3 times. Okay. We toured from 91 to 94.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Coming out here. But yeah, dude, I was just like, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm just staying, and starting over. And I got out here and I just we found this house that was kind of like a hippie commune. It was I found this house that was on 4 acres of land, but then on all this open space. And it ended up being just 20 musicians living there. This is 1994, 95.
It was a legit cult.
That's the cult that we're talking about.
I mean, there's so many cults, bro.
No, that was legit.
What kind of
hippie cult?
Were you guys all fucking each other?
Were you fucking each other? What was going on?
Well, there was fucking, but
there was fucking.
Yeah, it did. It did go down like that a little bit. But,
nice.
But it was all happy. There wasn't any weird vibes with
this?
And then we had a garden. The guys in String Cheese lived there for a while.
What?
Mike Travis was there. He was barefoot for 8 months in the winter. And I was like, Jesus, dude. He lived in a tent.
Yeah.
What?
Behind the house. Yeah, he lived in a tent behind the house.
Just because he's like that?
Well, it was cheap, man. I was paying $150 a month for rent, man.
Where were you sleeping?
I slept in this outbuilding that had a raccoon living in the roof. And one night it was raining really hard and the fucking roof caved in, the ceiling, because it was leaking into the ceiling, and then eventually just came in and there was just raccoon shit everywhere. It was
fuck?
Yeah, it was. I had a tapestry and it was hanging down. It was dark and I thought it was a ghost. It got freaked out.
Were you getting into psychedelics at these times?
Oh yeah, we were very high.
Clearly. Clearly.
What was your drug of choice?
I think L. Mushrooms too.
Yeah,
mushrooms are better now.
Just all the psychedelic stuff.
Mushrooms are better now.
Yeah, because you can get the goo. The goo's
yeah.
You're eating actual.
Was this before?
Capsules.
Didn't you live in Hawaii for a while?
Oh yeah, that's another good story.
Was this before Boulder?
No, I did Hawaii between.
Quitting the band and moving to Boulder?
Yeah, I quit the band, moved to Hawaii for a few months.
Didn't you just live in some cave?
I lived in a cave, man.
You lived in a cave in a cave. Backtrack. What the fuck?
I had to make sure this got in there.
You lived in a cave?
Just kind of cleansing your palate. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're gonna start over, you might as well get off the grid.
Damn.
And just live in a cave, man. It was fucking cool.
Was it free?
I think it's still there. I showed Josh.
You think the cave's still there?
No, Josh Fairman and Kevin are some squabby. They're going to, and they actually hit me up and where's your cave? And we got on Google Maps and Google Earth or whatever, and I pinpointed it.
You can where it is that well?
Yes, I do know where it is because there's landmarks around it, but it's off the beaten path. You have to kind of sneak into it.
Was it legal what you were doing?
Probably not. I mean,
was it lonely living in a cave?
No. Dude, I would spend the entire day just in a hammock reading books, listening to tunes on my
by yourself?
Walkman.
Did you have any friends with you or anything?
Nope, by myself. And my buddy Jamie Janover, he runs Sonic Bloom.
Oh yeah.
He actually went out there with me, and we he was living on one side of the island. He'd come visit me, and I would ride my bike it'd be like 15 miles up these crazy roads to get to Hana, which is this groovy little town in Maui, and I go buy like some tuna fish and some mayonnaise and some yogurt.
Wow!
And I lived on that for like 5 days at a time, and I'd pick papayas off a tree.
Why'd you pick Hawaii?
Well, why not? I mean, it's fucking gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
And how long did this go on? Like,
I lived in the cave for like a couple months.
what the hell?
Yeah, and like I could see the Big Island and the snow caps, and there was like a freshwater stream that ran down. I would swim in it every day, and then like climb the waterfall. Dude, I was blissing
Did you feel
out.
really healthy at the end of that?
Yes. I said, all right, I'm going to take this moment with me for the rest of my life. No matter what, I'm going to have this little like memory.
This explains so much.
This does explain so
You're
much.
so zen all the time.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
I
Yeah.
heard that.
So like,
Well, then you get that little place to visit, and when things get stressful or whatever,
so that's what I was gonna say. Like, you learned how to calm your brain down through those times in Hawaii.
Right. And realize that time, like you would think that if you had nothing to do for 18 hours a day, that you'd get really bored,
Yeah.
But it's like time would go by really fast. It didn't feel like I was like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? Like, because I
What
would
do
go
you
snorkeling and stuff in the little bay,
Yeah.
and there's these big rocks. It was like that came from the river.
Did you have
There
any-
wasn't sand, and they would go up and down with the waves of the the tide, and just make this super soothing, meditative sound.
Were you playing music then?
I had my practice pad. I'd be sitting on a rock with my practice.
No fucking.
Do you have any like
way.
dangerous situations at all?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, I don't remember.
Like
anything
raining too hard?
dangerous.
Thinking
I
like,
ate shit on my bike once. That was pretty.
And
sketch.
were psychedelics involved in this part of your life?
Of course.
Okay.
But I also have brought some weed, so I was smoking weed.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
okay.
All right, shout out.
And have you been back to the cave?
Huh?
Have you ever been back to the cave since you left?
No, I do want to go back.
That's so
I
crazy
wanna
that you
go,
never went
Josh.
back once.
I don't think you should.
No.
Ooh.
And here's why.
Interesting.
Because your memory of it is so beautiful and pure
Right.
that if you try to go back to it and something's
True.
bad there, what if there's a dead body in there?
True. Yeah.
What if you forgot you killed someone?
What
and
if you forgot you
there's,
killed
like there's a
somebody?
skeleton there and you're like, oh my God, I
found
was a
some
serial
bones.
killer.
What if the bass player Chakra is in
I,
the cave?
I totally forgot that I spazzed out.
That would be amazing.
I totally forgot I spazzed out and killed someone.
Okay, so you're zenned out.
Okay.
You get back to Boulder.
Yeah.
What was your game plan?
Yeah. Well, we found the hippie house, so that was good. That was a part of the game plan, you know. And then just to build a community. Community, I think, was the game plan because Boston didn't feel like it had much of a community. You know, people were just a little more like rat raced.
Yeah.
You know, like just everything's about a gig and like getting paid or whatever.
expensive
And
there.
I would just call people, get people's numbers, and call them. Hey, you want to jam? We would just set up jam sessions at the house.
Right.
And that's basically what I did. I mean, my rent was $150. You know what I mean? So I played 2 gigs a month, and I was good. You know.
Jeez.
So, yeah, we would. I would just set up these jam sessions at the house, and
But
just
you still kind of do.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I did a lot of that actually during the pandemic.
Yeah, I remember your house was the jam house.
That's true.
Socially
That's true.
safe.
Yeah.
Socially safe, of course.
Right. Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah.
Wink.
No,
Wink.
okay, so through these years of these jam sessions in Hawaii,
Well, no jam sessions in Hawaii.
I mean, sorry, jam sessions in Boulder.
Yeah.
That's when you started finding your band members, or how did that?
Yeah. Well, this is. I mean, originally it was called Dave Watts Motet because I was putting together these different Dave Watts Trio, Dave Watts Quartet, Quintet. Yada yada. I was like, I'm just gonna call it the Motet, so I don't have to change the poster. You know what I mean? Like, so we got a gig. I mean, all right. I was building up the community, playing, jamming and doing local gigs. I mean, honestly, I was playing like 25 shows a month just in Boulder.
Holy shit!
You know what I mean? Between Boulder and Nederland.
They didn't get sick of you?
No, dude. They loved it because they
So
didn't really
cool.
have, the stuff we were doing, acid jazz and funk and world music, and just we were kind of expanding the sort of
The idea.
yeah, because there was a lot more like folk music and hippie rock and that sort of thing happening. back in those days. So we kind of like we're expanding this.
Plus, you
musical-
couldn't just hop on YouTube and watch whatever you want at any time.
Right.
Like going to a concert
Right, yeah,
was
it was-
much more valuable then.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
So you build this community. You're starting to gig out with Dave Watts going solo.
Seeing like String Cheese, kicking ass. Those guys would be on
That's
tour
when
and they come back
they were
to the
starting
house.
to pop.
Mike King was living at the house. Travis was living at the house. They
Wow.
they leave their bus there. So we were all inspired by the success was people were finding.
Who inspired you the most to work hard?
Oh shit, that's a good question. I mean, those guys for sure. Seeing Fish blow up, that was for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just all of our friends doing well and getting into it. I think that even just the local guys were just psyched to be playing music.
Right.
It wasn't about the gig necessarily, just psyched to play music and have that community. So, so I was saying is I got a call to do the Mountain Sun. Do you know the Mountain Sun?
I used to play that on those Mondays.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I played it too.
And the Sundays too, they would have at the one on Pearl Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they called me to play their Halloween party. And their Halloween parties at that point were notorious because they'd make this mushroom beer.
Really?
Oh, man.
Yeah, mushroom beer. It was so crazy. And it was strong, like really wild. So like they got rowdy at those Halloween parties. I think I did 3 of them.
Yeah.
But that was the first Motet show.
Really?
Like Dave Watts Motet. Yeah.
So when did you start getting singers?
Yeah, but he started out as like instrumental, like acid
Was Dom
jazz.
in the band right away?
No.
Okay.
Dominic Lally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like 2005, I think.
Okay.
We had some singers doing back then we were doing a lot of Afro-Cuban and Brazilian music.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of world music,
So sick.
which was really fun. I went to Cuba 3 times, study bata.
Really?
Yeah, so we were more wrapped around
Dave.
percussion.
So boring.
Go back to Cuba now. What the fuck? You're just throwing these curveballs like it's everyone goes to Cuba to learn
Right.
baton. Okay, so you're in Cuba now. What year?
Yeah. That was like 2000. I went there it was 98.
It was also way harder to go to Cuba then, wasn't it?
It was. You had to sneak in and it could be sketchy.
Yeah.
And they, it was like we got there in 1998, so it was a New Year's Eve. So it was the anniversary of the revolution. So people were just out in the street. People throw water balloons out of the window when they celebrate in Cuba. It's kind of interesting.
So cool.
But we got there and we were staying with the family. It's called Casa Particular, and you stay with the family, and it's kind of off the books. So you could get in some trouble for it. But to even get into the country, we were supposed to show that we're going to a hotel, but we didn't have a hotel. We were going to this house. So like the sort of security there that were getting us through, and we were the last people to get in for whatever reason. Our flight was delayed. Were giving us such a hard time, and like I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she was crying, and it was all this thing. And so I ended up bribing the security guy like $20, and he let us into the country. It was like a little sketch. You know what I mean?
$20 is all it took?
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for them that was
Especially in
And-
20s,
yeah,
2000s.
You're right.
yeah, 98.
98.
Yeah.
And Jan's our singer actually went to Cuban jail for like a week
Why?
because he left the country to you're only supposed to stay for a month, and then you have to like renew your visa. So he left and came back, and he thought that would do the trick, but he didn't have a return ticket. I don't know. They got caught up with some weird bureaucratic thing, and they were like giving him a hard time. Like he's like, just take me back to where my stuff is, and I'll like show you my return ticket or whatever. And they just took him straight to jail. And he was there with no one speaking English. Like,
Was he scared?
Yeah. Because at one point, the lady from the consulate showed up and she was like, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here." She gave him a hard time. He thought I was going to be there for he met people in Cuban jail that had been there for years because they had a layover that got messed up. And it was just like,
This is when it was starting to get real spicy between America and Cuba.
yeah, it was definitely they were not. Like
not
now,
cool.
you can get there on I can
the
fly there
embargo.
with Southwest on points.
Yeah,
it's
hell yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, there's no embargo.
We back, baby.
It's way
We
better.
back.
It's way better now.
That's so weren't you kind of scared? Like if you got in trouble, they'd fucking keep you in jail. Like were you
Yeah.
doing some ratchet shit out
Yeah,
there, or were
I
you just
mean,
focusing on drums?
No, just on drums and trying to absorb the culture And like the next day, we went to this place called Callejon de Hamel. This is like, you know, the January 1st or whatever, 1998, 99. And they have these ceremonies, you know, like Afro-Cuban ceremonies, Santeria. There's always like, you know, they believe that the blood of the animals has like ashe or like energy to it. So we go down to this Callejon de Hamel and they're having a ceremony for the just tourists, you know what I mean? Whatever. And we're like, wow, this is great. You know, like great drumming, and the guy's like dancing around, and he picks up this turtle and just bites the head off this turtle and just starts sucking the blood just right into his mouth. You know what I mean? And this is like on the street. I'm like, holy shit, man, we're in for a fucking ride.
Is that gluten-free?
Yeah, it was intense, man. I was like, this shit is serious.
What'd you learn about the culture?
It's just like, the culture in Cuba is so cool because it's street culture, you know, and everyone's out in the street walking because there's not even that many cars, you know, like all these old cars from the 1950s and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But there's so much action in the street, and everyone's like, the community is huge, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, everyone knows everyone in Havana. And people don't have a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? It's kind of amazing. Like, you go and like people are dressed really nice and like nice sneakers, and like everything is clean and pressed, and like everyone's looking sharp. And then you go into their house and there's just like a fridge and one painting on the wall and like 2 chairs. And that's all I got. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not a lot of stuff. And there'll be like 8 people living in a tiny little apartment, you know, that's kind of falling apart.
What'd you learn about simplicity?
Well, it's like, you know, it's like living in the cave, man. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's just like you can get away, your life can get away with a lot less stuff, you know, and in fact, like less stuff can really help with your sort of clarity, your mental state.
Do you think of that the same way as the pocket?
Yeah, right. Clearing out the stuff. Yeah, like, you know, playing simpler. You know, I think that's like generally my style is to play simple, you know, like backbeats and
see that.
Laying it down and sort of hearing whatever everyone else is adding to it, you know.
So you went to Hawaii to clear your head. Then you went to Cuba to get fucking good at drums. Yeah. Did you feel like you got really good after that?
Yeah, but I mean, you go there and you hear like a 12-year-old just fucking ripping.
Yeah,
because you know,
it's like the New Orleans horn player thing. It's like they're just like, it's in their blood.
Yeah, it's so deep.
Yeah,
at such a young age.
Yeah.
So you get back to Boulder with this new sense of mentality.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
Right. We started playing a lot more Cuban music. You know? Yeah. Jans, our singer, he was steeped in it too. So we did a lot of Afro-Cuban stuff and Brazilian stuff.
What was your first break, you think, with Motet?
First break?
Like you felt like, damn, this is really starting to pop.
Yeah. Well, we played Aspen Jazz Aspen Music Festival.
Uh-huh. What was that? Was that a popping thing?
Yeah.
Is it still popping?
I met James Brown. I mean,
what?
How cool is that?
You talked to him?
Yes. I shook his hand.
What'd you talk to him about?
Man, I just said thank you for everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was there with his wife. Like I shook his hand and we had a nice exchange. And then we walk over to the elevator, and then he walks up right next to us at the elevator, and then it got super awkward because I was just like, oh shit.
You already said goodbye.
Yeah. I was like, oh, now I gotta wait in the elevator with James Brown.
Was it silent during the elevator?
Yeah, I was just like, now what do I say?
It's like when you're leaving somewhere with someone and it's like you're following them, but your car's just parked next to each other or something in the parking lot. I swear I'm not stalking you.
How important is James Brown to funk music?
Oh, well, he was it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no historian. Like, you can talk to Deitch about all that, you know. But yeah, come on,
it wouldn't be it. What it is.
It wouldn't be what it was.
You could argue he sort of invented hip hop almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, or it was one of the you know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, you know, identity of a band. You know, it's like, it's so weird how they place a vocal voice with the identity of a band.
Right.
When you've had like 3 or 4 vocalists, how hard is it?
It's a weird thing. It's weird to like play songs that like Lyle wrote.
Yeah.
And then have a different singer.
Yeah.
Because you can like, no offense, Nick, but you can have a different horn player and it doesn't really make a difference.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Or drummer.
He's saying you're replaceable, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a good way.
I'm sorry, my saxophone doesn't light up and have smoke come out of it.
Hey, fuck off. But is it hard to always, like, you've had, ever since I've been with you, or we haven't been with each other, but ever since I've known you for you've had different singers, and it's like, is it like, do you have to like feel like you have to rebuild the band every time there's a new singer?
Yeah, man. I know I do actually, because going back to Chakra, I actually used to write lyrics and melodies for the vocals. Like I'd write the vocal songs, but then for a singer, not me to sing, but for a singer, and then we lost our singer. I guess that's why we broke up, because we lost our singer, and then it's like, what do we do now? You know what I mean? Like a different guy trying to sing the same words might not work. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Sammy Hagar did it.
Yeah,
I guess that worked.
Did you ever try singing?
They made me sing once.
No,
it was terrible.
What song was it? What show was it? What happened?
Well, it was a song I wrote. I don't remember what it was called, but
was it Chakra or Motet?
Chakra. No, I'm not. No, I did that once, and I'm like, all right, that's it.
Why don't you want?
Well, the drummers who sing actually are really good at drumming.
Yeah,
like Levon Helm,
Phil Collins,
Nikki,
Andee Avila,
Jesse from Full House.
But no, there's something about a singer who, a drummer who sings is like, their pocket tends to be really good. You know what I mean? I think.
Do you not write lyrics and melodies for your new Motet songs anymore?
No. I mean, I write grooves and I let, other guys do that stuff. It takes a lot, man.
Yeah.
Writing takes a lot for me. I'm not quick at it. I write things because I want to play the things. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily write to write. Like, I think the best writers are guys that just write because they're just hearing shit and they want to like get it out. And for me, it's like, well, I want to play this kind of groove, for the live show. And so I'll write something that, is
so you just say, all right, I'm making this groove. Vocalist, fuck off. Yeah. You figure this out.
Well, it's a lot easier to write instrumental music and then change your lineup. You know what I mean? And then you can still do that, that music,
And now you're kind of instrumental again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're like half and half, you know what I mean? But,
but when you have a singer,
I don't know that we're meant to be an instrumental band. I mean, I love playing instrumental music, but I feel like we all yearn for
a singer.
The singer and the vocal element that just brings in the audience and has a message. And
if Andy's band falls apart, maybe you guys can hire Motet.
Hell yeah. Are you hard to be in a band with?
No, he's not. I've worked for him enough times.
I'm the easy one. I'm just annoying.
What annoys you?
No, nothing annoys me. I'm annoying.
Why?
Because at one point they wrote a song called "Where's Dave."
Oh, okay, on that level.
Yeah.
See, when I work for you,
some guys like to move quick, and I like to saunter. I'm a saunterer.
Yeah,
that's a word.
You lived in a cave in Hawaii.
I lived in a cave in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So you're a floater.
Yeah.
But your pocket is so
purpose,
strong no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be two sides of you, Dave, because like this freedom idea of freedom, but then your pocket is so strong that's got to be a different mind state in itself. Like, where does that come from?
Right. Well, I mean, music. I know what the music should sound like. Mm-hmm. There's that. Yeah. So like, and I like to play for a dancing audience. Right. So for me, it's like if I keep it simple and keep it steady. Yeah. I'm satisfying like my purpose.
I've always felt like when I work for you, you're like one of the best guys to work for. It's always very prepared, organized. You lead the band well.
I'm a little OCD with that.
But you're not a sauntery on those gigs, I guess, because we're not traveling. So I guess I don't see that side of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I put in all that effort so I can saunter.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, see, you're a preparer.
He saunters up and then he kills
it. You prepare so you can float.
Yeah, right.
That's how I am.
Okay. Yeah, right. If you do your homework and you spend the time ahead of time to like make sure everything's legit, then then it's a lot easier. Life's easier.
Is there a formula to make people dance?
That's a good question.
There's definitely a formula to make them not dance. You know what I mean?
True.
But what's the formula to make people dance?
I mean, I think like being steady. No matter what it is. Because if you go to Cuba or you go to Brazil, like the rhythms themselves are way different. Mm-hmm. So it's not a rhythmic or a pattern concept to make people dance necessarily. Mm-hmm. But I think it's also like a sort of, group thing. I think it's probably the least danceable bands or bands where everyone's kind of doing their own thing and not really locking in with each other.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like distracting from like that feeling. Because I don't know, like, you ever notice like some of the musicians that play the most pocket stuff or whatever don't dance.
Yeah.
Like musicians don't dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like it's, like it's almost like well, ask the dancer what makes,
Yeah. I was at Krasno's wedding, star-studded event, all jam, crazy musicians. Not one person wanted to dance at the wedding. I was like, damn, we're with a bunch of musicians and nobody's fucking dancing. You have a point there. It could be that. I feel like the people who give the music aren't the dancers.
Right.
Because you're giving them the dance.
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, it makes sense. I do like to practice my ballet 3 or 4 hours a day, but I have one of those mirrors with the bar in front of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so wild, Dave. Okay, so we're in the mid 2000s. Who was the first singer that came into your world as Motet?
Well, Jan's was, and that was like early actually. And
What happened?
He kind of he did like he did an album or two and then bounced and came back for a while and bounced again. So like, he was actually first a percussionist with us, and then the singing was like an additional thing.
He's killing it.
Oh, I met him in Connecticut. Does he live in Connecticut?
No, Portland.
Oh, that's where I met him.
Portland,
I met him in
Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I met him once. He has a goatee.
On Motet tour?
No, we just played a show in Portland. And
Taller guy?
Taller guy.
Yeah.
He does something else now.
He raises kids.
Yeah, he's raising the hell out of his kids. He took him around the world and stuff.
He did. Fucking awesome.
So was he your best friend in the band?
Yeah, we were tight. He's good. Yeah, he's good. Like, he's just one of those sort of, your bands like maybe find balance, you know what I mean, with different members and that sort of thing. And like, he's good balance.
Was it hard when you wanted to leave?
No, because I started the band knowing that everyone's going to leave at some point.
That's sad.
No, I think it's not sad
It's
at all.
It's realistic because you're basically a front man with a band name.
I said to myself, if I'm going to do anything, members are going to change, the music's going to change. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
But at least I can have the name stay the same, and then like you don't have to redo the brand. Like at least you have that, and that keeps your base.
I feel like speaking of bass, Garrett's been in the band for a long time.
Yeah,
now,
Garrett's the longest standing member for sure.
Man, lucky there. That guy's amazing.
I think also the situation you had with Chakra prepared you to have a open door policy with your band, because how you said, "Oh man, I got to change the band name now that the singer's gone."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe that, like, with that subconsciously teaching you, like, 100%. All right, up and down, but I know I'm going to be doing this forever.
Right.
And whoever wants to come on the ride, come on the ride.
Right. Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no hard feelings. No, weird shit. It's just
so you're a guy who doesn't give up.
No. I mean, what else do I got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can always move back to the cave, I suppose.
What about are you a guy who has a backup plan, or you just full on dive into one thing?
No backup plans. No. Yeah. There's no plan B.
Do you feel like a plan B distracts you from plan A?
Yeah, I think so. Because then you're like, when do I make plan B happen? Instead of just like, it's all the same plan, man.
Yeah. So now let's go move band now, 2022.
Yeah.
So as the band gets, grows more, and, you see the ups and downs of the music industry, what's your take on the state of the music industry and the state of jam music?
Oh, damn. That's deep, bro. I think it's different right now than it was 6 months ago.
Right.
It's kind of like,
tell me about it.
Well, it's just like the pandemic thing. It's like, I still feel like there's a decent amount of people that are wary about going out into crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So selling tickets is weird. Numbers are down in a lot of festivals, and
ticket sales
are tough. It's just like, the whole like streaming thing and how to monetize that. That's like a whole thing too. So, but on the other side, the streaming thing is great for exposure, and people like, your music will precede you. Mm-hmm. Whereas it used to be like, got to tour this town 3 times and then like bring the CDs every time and hope that like 15 people buy CDs and they tell their friends. And, it used to be a big deal when you'd sell like 10 CDs at a show.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, people are going to hear the music. Now it's like, it's out there. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to hear your music. So that's a whole different story. I think it's great.
Do you think it's easier to make albums now than ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's also easier to make garbage.
Of course.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the
Like,
actual act of completing it's easier, right? And cheaper, I feel like.
yeah, it's almost hard to know when you're done. You know, it's like it's like with recording. It's like you have so many options, creative options now.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it at home, you know, you can just keep mixing and doing all this stuff, and then like when is it done? And it could be the same with making a record. Like a lot of people are releasing singles.
Yeah.
Before the album comes up, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, what's at what point is it the album or a bunch of singles? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know.
But and it's also hard because like you're touching on a little bit that funk music and jam music doesn't get the streams that a songwriter gets.
Except for like the nugs.net thing. That's the only
you're
time.
getting pennies. You're not getting fucking real mailbox money.
But I mean, like live recordings get more streams than actual studio recordings.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
and YouTube, watches.
But you're not in the millions
No.
like these
some
folk
people are.
singers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how do we change the state of royalty and streaming music? Like I think of like a dude like Otis McDonald in Krasno's band.
Okay, yeah.
Where he just makes these 20-second funky things for YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
And like just builds all these just loops.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, he sells them as
He
loops?
sells loops.
Oh shit.
And he sells loops to all these different commercials and stuff to make money. What like I look at these guys like Color Red and I look like these other because you've done a few things with Color Red.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have a good business model of how to get funk bands and jam bands revenue.
Yeah. Publishing. Yeah. And I guess like if you do instrumental music, is it easier or harder to get publishing?
It's got in my brain, I'd think it'd be easier, right? Because there's a lot more things that need instrumental music versus, but it's just like the 7 people who control the whole fucking commercial world or the music supervisors who control all the movies. You have to get with them, and like it's hard to do that from Denver.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why live music is like the only way we can make money.
Selling tickets is like my bread and butter. I've never experienced like that much mailbox money.
Yeah.
When I know it's out there and I know that people.
Luckily, jam band people go to stuff.
Well, he's saying they're not going to stuff right now.
Well, but nobody is in any industry.
EDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
country.
EDM and the jam band world are a little bit linked too.
Country?
No, EDM and jam band.
There's crossover with everything.
Yes.
Same kids are going to bluegrass, they're going to Skrillex.
So like with that idea of you're saying like it's scary the last 6 months where you rely on selling tickets and you can't, is that scary you about your livelihood?
Well, yeah, I suppose, it's kind of like if you don't tour, you can only play so much locally without just being a full-on freelance artist, And, that's not necessarily my cup of tea to be just a freelance artist. Yeah. Although it's around here, we're pretty blessed.
Yeah. We can make a living doing
Denver is like.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier when you're a horn player, though.
You tour that, right?
Yeah. When I can, but also I am a freelance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your ideal tour schedule? How many dates with Motet?
I feel like I would like to do something different because right now we're out every weekend. You know what I mean? Or we do these gigs like we opened up for P-Funk last week. And
you're doing the whole tour with them, right?
We're doing a bunch of dates, but it's not, it's like weekend stuff and one-offs. But it was like it was meant to be 3 days of travel. It ended up being 4 days of travel because the flight got canceled for a 40-minute set. You know what I mean? It's like, God damn, man. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? You could do a lot in 4 days, And
do you run the business side of it too?
I used to. We have manager.
Yeah. But like, you're still in there.
Yeah. You got to manage the manager.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do that.
Hell yeah, Dave. Right. Let's go. That's what I'm not talking about. That's that gangster shit I'm talking about. Micromanage. I'm on 7S too, so I do. I'm on Schwartz's back all the fucking time.
Like, I saw him there. He was like, he looked like he was working.
Yeah.
At Red Rocks. He was like.
I want to go a little further now. Are memories important to you?
Memories? Yeah, of course, man. Of course. You can't remember everything. You go crazy.
I know.
People are like, remember that time we hung out? And I'm like, no.
How hard was it to lose the house that you've been in forever?
Oh yeah, that was rough. I mean, you know, again, that was you know, a moment where it's just like letting go and just, you know, not being attached to the physical thing, you know. So
What was that day like for you when you heard your house was getting burned down?
it was a wild ride. Kind of sucked, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of really sucked. Because we didn't, when I heard it, because it's so weird, man. Like, you wouldn't think a house in a residential neighborhood like we were in, it's kind of like Pleasantville, man. Like manicured lawns and kids running out in the street. And it was all like chill. And we were on open space. It wasn't like we were in the woods where, you know, forest fires happen.
It was like a subdivision.
What was that fire called again?
Yeah. Marshall Fire.
Marshall Fires,
Fire, yeah.
Did it happen quickly? Like how long?
Yeah, dude, like so quick because the wind. You know, I think the sort of recipe is the wind. When you have hurricane force
and the
winds,
dry grass everywhere.
dry grass. I honestly thought that the grass was not going to be a big deal. Like we're on prairie. It's like you wouldn't think that there'd be a threat with fire, and it'd be easy to bring in trucks into a neighborhood and spray down whatever needed to be sprayed down. But apparently, it was like that. With that wind, like the flames were going sideways.
Whoa.
And then like the sparks and you know, embers were flying like, you know, a mile and a half up and then landing somewhere else and then taking out another neighborhood. Like these different neighborhoods were being taken out, separated, you know, like, so ours was on the front lines, you know, we were right there where it started. And our tour manager, Jason Bruton, was driving, just happened to be driving by that area on 93 in Boulder. And he called me. He's like, "Are you home right now?" I was like, "No, we were in LA." You know?
Yeah, you were getting ready for like New Year's gigs, probably.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We were down in LA. And I was like, "No, I'm at home. What's up?" And he's showing me these pictures like fucking Armageddon, like the amount of smoke that was in the air. But I still just couldn't believe that was, you know, happening. We had neighbors that were actually there and were trying to get stuff out of their houses, and the fire was so fast coming in that their house was burned, like their doors open and embers flying in, their houses were burning from the inside out just because it was so chaotic and just so much.
Did people die?
A few people died. Yeah, some older folks, people that couldn't get out.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
You got you know your dogs passed away in the fire, right?
Yeah, that was the worst part of it. Is just the pups, man. We had 2 dogs and a cat.
I was watching PK's Instagram story. He was trying to go to your house to get the dogs.
Well, he
was
actually
living with you
he
at the
did
time,
get
or?
in. Well, no, he just stays with us a lot.
Okay, his dog was there though.
No, not his dog.
Okay.
It was our 2 Yorkies and a cat, and our roommate was at work, and he snuck in. He managed to sneak in, and it was too late at that point, man. There was nothing left, you know. It's like total annihilation. Like fires like that, it's just like nothing gets saved, you know. And I was hoping like, maybe there'll be a hard drive, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
nothing.
No, man. It's so trashed.
Yeah. How do you forget about that? Do you still have nightmares about that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll like, you know, I'll just hear the wind, and the wind kind of freaks me out, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and in the, you know, you see pictures of the dogs all the time. That's like, you know, the heartbreaking thing, you know, like Facebook will be like memories. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to bring it up.
No, it's like, it's real. It's real, you know. I mean,
think about the community coming together though.
Yeah.
And helping out all the people. Like I remember all those I did one of the fundraisers for Marshall Fire, Boulder Theater. But like people, like you did your registry and people were helping you buy new stuff and stuff.
Yeah, the GoFundMe. And I mean, I got more stuff now than I did before. Like we like,
let's go. That's how good Colorado is.
It really is.
It's that idea of community that you talked about that you're searching for. And look what I feel like you're one of the frontiers of this building these music communities in Colorado, bro.
I guess so, man. It's like a blessing, man. I can't even believe it really when I think about it. But people like from all over the country, like gifting me gear, music gear.
So cool.
And that's how Nikki gave you that really nice kit.
Yeah, she gave me that chrome wrapped.
Yeah, sick.
You know, custom absolutes, man. Just beautiful drums. Yeah, she's like hooked me up, you know, like and I actually like that's like I have like 6 drum sets now.
Wow.
People like just taking care of me, you know what I mean? They're all killer. And then it's been really cool, man. Like that aspect of it has been really like heartwarming. Like, okay, the feeling of security.
People care about you.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah. It a lot has changed since fucking Boston, Massachusetts, bud, where you felt like no one gave a fuck about you.
Right. Yeah, that might have been my best business decision and personal decision to move out
Man,
here.
it saved your life. Think about how bitter you would have been if you would have stayed in Boston.
Oh my.
Do you think living in the
God.
cave helped prepare for you for this too?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
That experience of
Yeah.
not
I
having
think I found
anything?
out why he's the fountain of youth. Because of no worry.
Yeah.
He learned how to not worry.
Yeah. See? Look. And then go look in the mirror.
Look, and now he looks hot. He's hot.
Yeah. He's hot.
Dave, you're hot.
He's a hot guy.
Thanks, guys.
So let's talk about Beach Fest a little bit before we get off this podcast. By the way, thanks for being vulnerable.
yeah, bro.
I bet you haven't even skimmed the fucking top of the mountain with your stories, dude.
Well,
you probably
yeah,
have
there
wild.
are a lot of stories. I don't even know if they're all that appropriate for this situation.
Give us one inappropriate story.
Really?
Just one.
Are you sure?
This is a NC-17 podcast.
Yeah. God, my kid might hear this.
NC-7. Oh, yeah.
I also want to talk about that.
Yeah.
What was it like raising a kid while doing all this touring and shit?
Oh yeah, it's a challenge. It really is a challenge. I have a friend who has 5 kids.
Oh, fuck
He's
that.
a touring drummer with 5 kids.
Fuck all that.
Oh, man.
And like that's perspective for me,
Right.
And like seeing like other guys I know that are doing it with like,
Yeah.
5 times as, many kids as I have. Although I have.
What about your own experience raising kid while touring?
Yeah, no, I feel very fortunate. My son Milo he's super chill. He's a great kid, and like I was saying before, it's really strange. The kids today, like, they don't want to drive a car.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like him and all his friends, they just like don't want to do it. Like when we were kids, it was just like
We were just having that podcast with my parents talking about getting pussy at 16.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble because I was driving with girls.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, is this weird? Then I'm like, well, at least he's not doing the dumb shit I was doing.
Yeah.
when I
Yeah,
was
but
his
also a
age.
little dumb shit's good for you.
Yeah.
Little dumb shit's
Yeah,
good for you.
yeah.
Not too
It
much.
grows your character.
A little.
Speaking about dumb shit, what's the dumbest shit you ever done, Dave?
Oh, yeah. Oh man, dumbest shit I ever did.
That's a hard one.
It really is. There's so many
Any things you still regret
So many
doing?
choices.
So many choices. Regrets? No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
So you're cool with doing dumb shit.
I think so. Like I think doing dumb shit, like you said, it builds character. You know what I mean?
Fun.
Learn lessons. You don't want to just keep doing the same dumb shit.
No.
Right.
But you can do dumb shit your whole life, and I
Right.
think it's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fuck.
Like,
Dave is a Buddha.
Yeah. I told you.
Who comes out of the Northeast and be a Buddha like that?
You got to go to a cave in Hawaii.
This is an anomaly.
right.
It's because he went to that cave.
And he was taking a bunch of drugs in a cult.
Were you chill
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
cave?
Huh? Was
Did you
it what?
become chill or were you born chill?
Born chill. I should ask my mom. I think I was pretty chill as a kid.
Yeah?
You
Yeah.
know, I didn't like yell and scream too much.
Did you have a good relationship with your family?
Yeah, my folks are the best.
Super supportive.
Yeah, they let me play drums in the house when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
sick.
That's just like,
That's helpful.
you know what I mean? Because
Especially drums, loud as fuck.
So loud, dude.
And like you're not good.
Yeah,
So it's just
sucking.
annoying as fuck.
Even when you're good at drums, it's annoying. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not like, there's no like, oh yeah,
True.
it's relaxing drums.
right.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, maybe it depends.
Oh, saxophone's the
I used
same
to
way.
I used to crank up the stereo. Like we had, turntable. We didn't have like iPods and shit when I was a kid.
Right.
And so I would like the turntable would be in the living room, and my bedroom was like 40 feet away. So I made these headphones with 40-foot reach. I like took some wire and like extended the headphones.
Right.
And I would like go into the room, put on the record, be like Boston or like
Hell yeah.
you know what I mean, like some classic rock shit.
Right.
And run into my room as quick as I could to catch the downbeat, throw on the headphones and then play along to the record. But I'd forget to turn the speakers off. And my brother would be like, "You don't sound anything like the record." Just give me so much shit.
Is your brother a drummer too?
No. I'm the black sheep.
Are you the youngest?
Did you have a good relationship with your brother?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still do.
So like
Except
it
for
was
that
just,
shit.
Yeah, he was just
Yeah.
being an asshole.
He's just,
Yeah, brother stuff.
Brother,
shit,
you ever
yeah.
beat the shit out of him?
He used to kick my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
what? Petty shit?
Yeah. Dumb shit.
Brother stuff.
How
Other
old, how many
stuff.
years younger, older?
He's 2 years older.
Oh, so you went to high school together, everything.
Right
Yeah.
in the wheelhouse of getting your
Oh,
ass
that's
no,
the wheelhouse of
'Cause
assholeness.
We were tight, and then all of a sudden it was like, little brother's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happens.
Sick.
So
Dave, What a
Man.
fucking episode.
Andy.
You just fucking just like, you're just like prosciutto up here, bro. You're just cutting a little bit.
Well,
There's
okay.
still a whole
Sliced.
ham left. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, whoo.
Let's come back.
You never changed
Yeah, you're
tone since, like,
definitely
I went to
coming back.
Cuba, I went to Hawaii.
I
and
went to
then
Hawaii, then I went to Cuba.
I'm
then
so much more enlightened than all of you and chill than all
then I
of
made
you
love
are.
with mermaids in the
I used to-
Galapagos.
I used to catch, every day I would catch a tuna and eat it raw.
Yes. I used to
Pure
fish.
protein on acid.
I used to have my drum pad and I used to fish
Nothing-
while
nothing
I wait
will-
for the fish to come to my mouth.
Nothing can affect me. And then I went to Cuba and learned properly how to play drums.
I almost went to jail, but I said, no, devil. I'm going to learn the drums instead. I'm going to sit here. Dave,
Wow.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for that.
You excited for Peach Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever
It's gonna
done
be
Peach
cool.
Fest?
Yeah, I did, man. We played it, and there's fucking people like in a lazy river watching you play. It's so weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Like water slides and like.
Wook's just pissing in the wave pool.
So
and
much
shit.
pee. So much pee.
So much
I'm
pee.
not getting in that shit.
Like that. The new South Park has a whole bit about that.
I always
Oh, really?
get like a little blister on my my kneecap every time I crowd surf into the wave pool. Out there, just like
Have
a
you
little
done that?
thing. I do it every year.
What?
I crowd surf to the
That's
wave
epic.
pool.
Some herpes being flared up.
Yeah,
They just
like-
toss you in.
Yeah, and it's far. The
Yeah.
wave pool is far from that stage. You're probably on the same stage we are.
Yeah, yeah. The one
The
up
wave,
top.
yeah, the wave pool stage.
So they toss you in, and then you come out, and then
Then I'm
bring
all
you back,
wet,
and you're all wet,
and I get
people
electrocuted.
Oh my
I'll
god,
get shocked.
that's brilliant.
But what's your favorite Peach Fest memory?
Man, what did we do? We saw I saw Trey band play there.
Sick.
It was cool, and I saw String Cheese with Butch Trucks.
That was tight.
That was cool, man. That was cool seeing him play before.
Trey still remember you?
Trey?
Yeah.
I don't know. We played with Chakra. I mean, he played with Chakra. Like we did. We used to do these shows up in Burlington, and the whole band, like all the Fish, would come and sit in with us.
Sick.
And we even rehearsed in their living room once for one of the shows.
So sick.
And Trey was like, he came down and saw us play in our basement, and he's like, "I want to play with that guy." And just pointed right at me, and I was like, "Fuck yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah!" And it was pretty cool. And so he probably doesn't remember me.
Well, fuck that. We're
Yeah,
going over to Trey.
yeah,
We're going to
okay.
Trey's trailer.
Does he
We're
listen
gonna
to this?
knock on the door. Yeah, Trey. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
big fan.
Trey, Dave, Trey. Remember this guy?
Hey.
Did you go to a cave in Hawaii?
Yeah. I don't think so, Mr.
No.
Vermont. Dave, you said it all. Thank
Said
you.
it all. I didn't though. There's
know.
more.
I know.
That's-
Should we do a round two?
Yeah.
Round 2,
Yeah.
fight.
We'll give it a few.
Give it a couple months.
Couple months,
I mean,
okay.
we live in the same town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, thanks for being so good to Shawn Eckels.
Oh my God. Shawn
Thank you.
Eckels is a fucking madman.
He is. He's underrated.
beautiful.
He's
Yeah.
underrated in the scene. Not a lot of people really
they need to know.
talk about
They need
Shawn,
to know.
and they should.
I'm doing my part.
Good.
He's tall. I like that.
He's handsome.
He's handsome.
All
He
right,
loves-
guys.
He loves Zepp.
Dave, we'll see you at Peach Fest.
Yes. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Peach Fest.
Later.